Welcome to TW Sports Talk. In this, what I call a welcome to winter week here, after that Sunday afternoon snow fest of a game with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. The snowstorm hit early. Well, I guess a little earlier than expected, and rather more heavy than expected, and made for definitely one of the most interesting sporting events in history.
Wow, just going straight to history, huh?
History. I mean, however you want to put it.
Well, I mean,
recent history.
Well, Sean McCoy's
whatever.
gloves are going into the Hall of Fame, along with his rest of his gear, apparently, along with Nick Foles' gear for tying the NFL passing record again.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. Well, yeah, for that one time, but doing the same thing that Peyton Manning did earlier this year. But
yeah.
So I guess it was a classic game. I mean,
yeah.
There was not. I didn't see any snow plows out there once during the field.
No.
A lot of shovels. Shovels.
Yeah. The snow hit. It seemed to have hit hardest in Philadelphia. Not, you look at other games that were going on at the time.
There was
not in Baltimore, not Washington, not New York. Really hit hard in Philly though.
Cincinnati was snowing for a bit too, and you could see that. But they were able to clear that field off
clearly,
before the game started.
Clearly, in Philadelphia was most intriguing as far as snowfall goes.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely didn't expect that kind of snowfall, and it really made for an interesting twist on this football game. A lot of game planning just thrown out the window last minute.
Well, you need the kickers at the punt essentially.
Right. It was yeah. I mean, it was like a backyard football classic.
Always go for two.
No field goals. Yeah.
Always go for two.
Except when the Detroit Lions did attempt one extra point, and
they wish they had a snowblower at that time.
Yeah, it burned a timeout, and to clear a field, and then of course
poor David Akers.
Yeah. But and then of course on that note, I mean, then of course you had the blocked extra point, and Brandon Fletcher, I mean, was running.
Apparently did not know the NFL rules.
Yeah,
he thought this was college.
Hate to take it away.
Can't take it back.
Hate to take it away from him, but it was pretty funny when that. You could hear the announcer saying like, "This will not count for any points here." It's just
even the officials made it clear, like in the NFL, an extra point block is a dead ball.
It was really
in college, take it back. I think you get like 2 points or something.
Yeah.
I forget. I mean, it's happened a few times in college.
And then on one play, Then of course on one play, we could not see the line. We're gonna review the play and etc. So with the whole snow, there was a lot of interesting things coming out of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And but to go through the game here, I mean, to start off, I mean, the Eagles' offense could not get anything going. First, 0-6 on the first 6 first downs. As far as the offense was going, and Detroit, they were actually able to move the ball in the beginning, and
easily.
I
think we had negative
fumbles.
1 total yards in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, and so things were looking bleak.
I mean, Calvin Johnson had a nice catch. I mean, he didn't do a whole bunch.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a nice catch where he got up and there was snow everywhere.
You could see him getting face planting and he gets up and shakes it off, and I mean, you see a lot of Eagles D linemen out there and linebackers with no no sleeves, and it looked pretty intense out there. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, with the Lions were fumbling the ball
twice.
They were having
in our territory.
Yeah. Now there's a positive here. I mean, the Eagles weren't really fumbling the ball at all. They had no trouble fumbling the ball. They had the snaps, and I think there were like 5 fumbled snaps or something that went wrong with Detroit.
Yeah.
The Eagles only came up with one of them when Matt Stafford
when it kind of mattered the most,
made the mistake of not falling on the ball in those conditions, and instead of trying to pick it up.
I'm going to give the Lions a pass because being a dome team, this whole it's something to get used to in climate weather and that. And in fact, I'm curious how this Philadelphia team does because I think we played in a dome all season, but we're going to Minneapolis next week, so curious how this team does in dome weather because basically it looks like if we win our wild card game, assuming we still win the division, and it looks very, very likely that's going to happen now.
Yeah, it looks promising.
But if we do and we beat the 6th seed, who I'm betting it's going to be Carolina right now.
Right
I
now,
think San Francisco's going to jump them at some point.
San Francisco just beat Seattle.
I mean, and I'd rather face Carolina anyway than San Francisco in the first round.
Yeah, San Francisco.
But even then, like I said, then it's essentially a trip to the Superdome, which I warned Tyler about. They're pretty much unbeatable in that dome.
The Saints, yeah.
But he thought the Carolina Panthers D could
get
the job done.
Yeah.
I think maybe at Carolina will be when they maybe get some payback. I think they have a better chance because
at their own
Saints
building.
don't do well outdoors. But I knew that Drew Brees was going to light it up in the dome. For them, that's almost like Seattle for their home stadium.
I just couldn't believe how bad the Saints did at Seattle. I mean, even though it was at Seattle,
yes.
I still would have thought they would have put up more than 7 points. But yeah.
But then again, like I said, we would win the wild card. We would have to go to the Saints. That's going to be an easy game. And then if we survive that, we'd have to go to Seattle and try to win in that horrible state. I don't say horrible. Horrible in that the fans are going to be like are going to be like in everybody's face. It's going to out Philadelphia essentially as far as like fans that really get into the game essentially.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one commercial which Seattle fans didn't like very much. You saw the Colin Kaepernick one, I take it. He's on the bus.
I think I've seen. Yeah.
Seattle fans are throwing crap at him. It looks
I saw like part of it. I think.
Yeah.
And then
apparently, Seattle fans saw that and we're not happy that they got viewed as like something that you need like the riot police to show up for.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anyways, the things were looking bleak with the Eagles game. Figuratively and literally.
Yeah. Foles for his first pick.
Foles, yeah. Which
I'm kind of happy about because I really did not want to hear this whole 19-0 thing going.
I mean.
Because you knew that was actually going to maybe get to his head a bit.
Yeah.
But no, I think he handled it. I mean, he handled the pick well.
And not only that, I mean...
So I was curious how he was going to handle it.
It's a pick that I give in that weather, I mean, I kind of give a pass on. Clearly, in the early part of the game, it looked like he was shot putting the ball, and it didn't look like he, was totally adjusted to the weather yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, this game was about making adjustments on the fly.
And to the Lions' credit, they made the adjustments early, which is why they got on the board early. And tell me, they could have got 3 touchdowns if it wasn't for those 2 fumbles by Bell. And deep in Philadelphia territory, I might add.
Yeah.
So, I think the first time Eagles could say the fact that we only got 8 would be a lucky break for us.
Yeah.
Because I do think if it had been like 20-0 going to halftime, would have been. I think most fans would have pretty much said this game was over.
Yeah.
But no, the fact that we held them to 8, due to those 2 key fumbles, was definitely good because by then the storm essentially cleared out. It got a little bit clearer. It started to deal with 8 inches of snow, but But then I think Chip Kelly realized that he had to modify the offense, which was smart. I still did not like the fact that they kept throwing McCoy out randomly and throwing in Polk. Polk did get a touchdown.
Did do well.
But
he had some good runs.
I feel like this is still Chip trying to be Oregon and think he has 3 solid backs here. Like, no, you have 1 solid back and 2 average backs. And, I just said, like, if it's like a key 3rd and 1, there's only 1 running back who should be out there for a key 3rd and 1 for this tournament game. And that's LeSean McCoy, not Chris Polk, and not Bryce Brown.
Yeah.
But that's the only really criticism I could have there. I mean, Chip actually made the smartest coaching decision that he's made all season, essentially. He actually kind of admitted that, I can't run it the old way in this weather. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually kind of like the new modified system, which is just we just run it up the middle of McCoy a lot.
Yeah.
Instead of on these horizontal routes where if there's a missed block, we get like -5, yards sometimes.
Yeah, you could see in the beginning of the game, some of the outside runs, they just weren't working, obviously, in that weather.
And that's happened in other games before, but it was getting ridiculous in the first half of that with all these outside runs that we weren't even getting. If we were getting any gain, it might have been 1 or 2 yards. I mean, but a lot of times the defense completely read them, and it was like a -5-6 loss essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too with the the special teams play. There were 2 returns for touchdowns that they gave up. I think the dynamic of that is that the guy with the ball is running straight. He doesn't have to worry as much about changing direction, and he knows where he's going to go. Where the other, the special teams for the Eagles aren't quite sure, where he's going to go, and it's hard to make the turns to tackle him. And so I could see that, and I think to some degree the Eagles, did that with the run game late in the game. They, LeSean McCoy, the straightforward runs.
Yeah.
And then he
Again,
put on longer cleats.
Against a pretty solid front
four. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about
some call it the best in the league.
I mean, we're talking about Sue and Fairley, who in the beginning really, but their presence was clearly felt. Yeah. I mean, how even Sue swinging his fist at Foles' shoulder, showed clearly feeling it too.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, how the hell did Michael Vick lose to this guy for most hated player?
Yeah.
But like, there's so many other athletes that should be more hated than Michael Vick right now. I'm going to joke. I mean, Lance Armstrong, Lance Armstrong, Alex Rodriguez, but it's still Michael Vick. I mean, he hasn't done anything in the last 3 years that's criminal or even, vilified in the league. But sure, what the hell? He's been the most hated in the past. Why not? It's almost like LeBron James now. Yeah. He's still the most hated NBA guy, apparently.
Yeah.
I thought Cleveland got over it, but apparently, according to some magazines, no, they haven't gotten over it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like this, I was saying with the run game.
Yes.
They'll show them breaking an Eagles record for 217 yards. Yes.
Which was
that was great.
Which was what was the guy's name? 1946 was the record. Not even Deuce Staley or Brian Westbrook could beat the record.
Yeah.
So it shows you a lot about McCoy as a running back, and like I said, especially with Peterson, looks like he might be out for the rest of the season, possibly.
Yeah.
Lucky for him, not a major injury, small, but still he might.
Yeah.
He might be out for the next 3 games, possibly.
Which, I mean, Minnesota's 3-9-1. They're already in the tank anyway.
Yeah,
so.
But I mean, they have Toby Gerhard, the backup, supposedly going to miss next week's game. So Philadelphia has no excuse to lose to the Vikings now. They're going to be facing, I think, Matt Castle again. I don't think Ponder's coming back. And they don't have Peterson, their weapon.
They're depleted, yeah.
And they don't even have their backup, Gerhard, who's actually a pretty decent running back. So, I mean, if they don't win against Minnesota in a dome where weather's not a factor, I mean, then they just gave Dallas that 1 inch of life yet.
Yeah.
And like I said, in that case, I'd say advantage Dallas because, let's face it, we didn't have to beat a very good Chicago team at home again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chicago's defense obviously has issues, but
they look better against Dallas, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and then again, Dallas's defense is terrible. Yeah. Absolute. But yeah, I mean,
and like I said, backup Jay Cutler might be back by the time that happens. Cutler, I think, is a pretty good, decent quarterback. So
yeah. Although McCown is doing well too.
But
certainly, but
Chicago can't go wrong by having 2 solid quarterbacks, especially if they make the playoffs.
Solid backup. Yeah.
Which is my argument to why I think Philadelphia should just keep Michael Vick as a backup then. We're going to go with Foles. I'm going to get rid of Vick then.
Yeah. Even if Foles were to go down, I mean, Michael Vick could give him a chance to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So hang on to him. Hang on to him. Just make him a backup. Yeah. The question could be question would be if he would take a pay cut or not. Because he would have to, because he's not going to get the money he made earlier because of starter, because he's going to be a backup. But no, I mean, I think if Vick doesn't get any offers to be a starter, and I don't see it. I don't see it. Because a lot of the people who want starters, they want longevity, Tyler, and Vic doesn't have longevity.
Yeah. Well, some teams, I mean,
and like I say, he's a veteran, and veterans can't hurt to have a veteran backup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my thoughts here. It's up to Vic really in the end. I think Philadelphia would be stupid to get rid of the guy. They should at least offer him a backup position, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least right now, I mean, if he'd do a better job than Barkley, I think.
But that's what I'm saying here. It's not a Matt Barkley or some random guy in the draft. I mean, the key here is you need some veteran leadership on this still considered very young football team. And Foles is good, but I think a lot of people still look at Vic as being a leader of this franchise.
Yeah.
And he can be.
Yeah.
He can be. I mean, hell, Deuce Staley's a coach now. I mean, why not? It's not like I don't see Atlanta hiring this guy as a coordinator in the future. I mean, you never know. Just maybe him just sitting on the sidelines could be as a quarterback coach can work maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. And with Nick Foles in this game, I think the turning point for the Eagles was the 1 third and 11 play where he found Deshaun Jackson out on the screen. I think that was like a good turning point. That was the first time they got a first down in the game, and I think it lifted a weight off their shoulders in that game and gave them some confidence. And yeah, I mean, Foles had that first interception of the season, which I give him a pass for in the weather.
But still gonna count as an interception, Tyler.
Yeah, no, and like
I said, I think it's nice that there is something in the INT category.
Yeah,
because I do not want to see him go into the playoffs with this whole oh, I have one pick all season kind of deal. Because
Yeah.
the thing about Foles right now is he is kind of mellow,
Yeah.
and that's great. I don't want him to stay mellow. I don't want him to get cocky.
Yeah.
Doing this whole because I think at one point, like in the right eagle, like in Zeke's picks, he always says when he makes his picks, he always says something funny to say. And the one was that well, since we now know that Nick Foles can walk on water and and make bread, essentially saying that Foles is Jesus, essentially.
Yeah, the Church of Foles.
Yeah, Church of Foles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny, but it could also be reality. Foles can actually believe that he's untouchable, and
yeah,
I mean, he needs to prove that he's mortal, essentially.
Yeah.
And that one interception, I think, proved to everybody that at least this guy can make mistakes.
Yeah,
he's not perfect.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, it didn't matter. I mean, they erased it pretty quickly, I think, and the rest of the game he played pretty well given the circumstances.
But to the fact that we were down at halftime and Foles made a mistake and the offense was clicking in the first half, I put it this way: this is the most impressive game of Nick Foles. Not statistically, it's not, but I think as a maturity route, it's good.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's like when the Panthers beat the Dolphins. I watched that game. And the Panthers were losing most of the game.
Down,
but Cam Newton stayed composed, which is why, I'm like, this is good. You want to see this in a quarterback. Yeah. When he's having a bad game, he still gets composed, and he can still get a win out.
And in this weather, too, I mean, early in the game, I know it was looking so bleak. The Eagles couldn't get any yards whatsoever. I mean,
I was screaming at the television a lot Sunday.
And an inexperienced quarterback, Nick Foles here is, what's going through his head? I mean, I guess he must not have been thinking like, oh man, we can't get anything going here. This, are we going to score any points? And I get he wasn't thinking that, I guess. And late in the game, in the fourth quarter especially, I mean, what was it? 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, I think.
Yeah,
4 or 5. I mean, it was. I mean, obviously Shady was having a career day.
Oh,
with Sean McCoy.
Even
Polk was doing well, and Shady McCoy.
But it's all about McCoy. That's the bread and butter of this offense. Now.
Right. The main reason
he's having a very good game for us to have a good game.
Right, and the main reason the Eagles have the #1 rushing offense.
Oh, definitely.
This year.
Well, like I said, the other positive has been in that offensive line's been healthy all season essentially.
Yeah,
and since we lost everybody last year.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be a positive sign of that. I think it was I think it was their 5 linemen that played 98% of the time.
Yeah.
I think. I think it's stat ESPN threw out. But
I think one game or something Jason Peters didn't play or something.
Yeah, but still,
something like that.
But still, the fact that their fronts, and not only that, the fact that they did well against a very established,
D-line
and Detroit Lions. Yeah. Like I said, if we're talking Fairley and
she brought up early
and Sue. Yeah, I mean, so and yet in the second half they were just pushing and creating holes all over the place.
Right, they were creating good running holes for and then of course he put on the long cleats, and he was making cuts out there they weren't on snow. It was pretty, it was pretty amazing, I think, to see him make those cuts, and then nobody could touch him at times.
Well, the problem I'd say always with McCoy was that there's times when he overdoes the cuts, and all of a sudden he gets a 5-yard loss, so especially on those horizontal plays where you don't really need to do the cuts. You just got to run, and hopefully there's a block there, and then you can maybe cut and get a few yards. I said McCoy's problem has always been, which is why I think for a while it took Reed a while to even adjust to this guy, was that he would always try to go for the big play every time, it felt like. And you don't go for the big play every time. 5-yard gain's okay. You want to move forward. You don't want to move backward. So, I mean, there's that. But I can tell Kelly's been at least clearly telling him that. And he's clearly been listening a few times, which is great.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have a guy get straight to his head that he is immortal somehow and that he can't make a mistake.
Yeah.
And that he can't blame, I mean, like I said earlier, I think it's there's always been that one native of McCoy, but I think he's been showing signs of improvement easily this year.
Yeah, and definitely from a technical standpoint, the late game runs especially, where they're creating the holes. I think the difference here was that, he was cutting guys, left and right, but he was going in a forward direction.
That's what I'm saying.
Whereas, instead of these outside runs where he can make a guy miss, but he's still on a bad angle, and defense can collapse on him.
When he jukes on the outside, he's going 10 yards back. It's not like he's still going forward. He's still trying to go up and make a cut. Still, he hasn't made a cut yet. So I mean, but again, like I said earlier, I mean, I think that if you go, if I'm Chip Kelly, I think you keep trying to go up the middle a lot. Try
Yeah.
to not use the horse. I mean, I think I also like this. Because also the fact that it was bad weather because we didn't really see a whole lot of read option.
Right.
And thank God.
Yeah.
Because I mean, except for that one massive run that Foles had, which, like I said, ran slow as hell. But luckily for him, the defense all thought Bryce Brown had the ball.
Right.
Because that could have been just a nightmare in the snow. But he got, I think, maybe a 15-yard gain in that one play.
Yeah.
But that's it. That was the only time I ever saw an actual read option lined up.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think clock management was better in the second half.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since we were lying. That's the other thing too. I think Chick I did. We weren't doing a whole lot of shotguns anymore. It was more up the middle, more up the center.
Yeah, which was
working
all. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
All quarter.
So I'm hoping that this is just a one-time deal because Chip said, "Oh, well, it's bad weather. We got to clearly modify." I'm hoping we still can use some of this because clearly it's working.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad weather, I think this could work in an actual game.
Yeah.
With whether it isn't a factor,
right?
But still, like I said, there's not a whole lot to really criticize about this game. I think it was easily their best win all season.
Right.
No, the stats won't say that, but I think the fact that the weather, the environment, the fact that the quarterback threw his first pick, the fact that in the first quarter they had -1 total yards.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the best time to see a team sometimes is when they're on their down and they're about to make they're about to come back, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, from an emotional standpoint, this a big emotional win, too. I mean, so they had to come from behind. In recent weeks they've been ahead in games heading in the second half. In this game they weren't. So, And then, the explosive fourth quarter. Hopefully they continue to, maybe do more plays that they were doing, like creating big holes for LaShawn McCoy to run through.
Yep.
And not do as much outside runs. That would definitely be a benefit too. And then, how about at the end of the game when with Brent Selleck basically has a touchdown and being selfless and just, having fun and just sliding. Yeah. Let's run out the clock. And, I mean, he could have got the touchdown.
Here's the thing, too. Chris Polk could have did the same thing if you think about it.
Yeah.
He didn't need to go for the touchdown. He could have just slid, and then we might have had maybe a chance to melt more time off the clock, but... Right. I guess Polk, being a third stringer, said, "This is my second career touchdown. I'm not going to waste this." And, obviously, I think Ertz has had a better stat tight end wise than Selleck has, but still, I think Selleck's proving the veteran leadership there.
Yeah,
being very selfless. Going for the W, not for stat.
Yeah,
which I didn't really care. I was going to win fantasy anyway. But
I mean, he could if he wanted to. I mean, he could have gone in the end zone too, and I nobody would have seen Detroit
making a comeback
in that short of time, moving the ball down.
No.
Exactly, but
I just saw Matt Stafford fumble the football again. I mean,
it
was happening most of the game anyway. But
right.
I should say the one that count isn't his fault. That I blame the center on that one. There was clearly a misread, and especially we watch Stafford's like just eyes and reaction to it. He knows that was just stupid.
Yeah.
Now it is his fault for not falling on the football and trying to pick it up. I mean, that's kind of a rookie thing there that you expect a rookie to make. Stafford is a veteran, so he should do better.
Yeah.
But despite all that, I think Detroit can still win the NFC North.
They can. I
think looking at their final 3 games, I think those are all winnable.
They're 7-6. Yeah, I mean they're 7-6 along with Chicago now. Green Bay 6-1, but obviously with hanging in the balance, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think earlier I saw the schedule. I think going down between those 3 teams, I think Detroit might have it the easiest. I forget exactly.
They're facing the Ravens Monday night, and we all know that Flacco and that offense has not really been clicking all season.
Yeah.
And even against the Vikings of all teams, they weren't clicking.
Yeah.
Although that was a pretty awesome finish to that game.
Yeah.
Craziest final 2 minutes I ever saw in a football game.
5 lead changes in the last 2 minutes or yeah. That was, I mean that was
that was awesome.
But yeah, no, I think there's that. Are they facing the Bucs after that? I think I know the last game is against the Vikings, which should be a W.
Yeah.
But no, and I was like I said, the Detroit wins out, even if the Chicago Bears win out, and that could happen too.
Yeah.
Because they got, I think, Cleveland. That should be a win. Then they face us, and most experts have them beating us right now.
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean, they could lose. I mean, the Eagles could lose that one. I could see it.
No, that's what I'm saying. They could lose to Chicago. And then Chicago has Green Bay. When by then Rodgers might be back, or if they're out of contention, I don't see them starting Rodgers the rest of the year. Yeah. What's the point? It doesn't matter anymore. The only point to start Rodgers is if they have a shot at still winning the division. Which is why, like I said, the Green Bay Dallas game is interesting because both teams need to win that game.
Yeah.
Green Bay to keep pace with Detroit, who might lose Monday night to Baltimore, and Dallas just to keep pace with us because we might win because I think that game's at 4, like it's at 4:30, and our game's at 1:00. So obviously Dallas would know already if we won or lost, and obviously if we lost, they would definitely want to win this game.
Chicago and Eagles, are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Dallas when they face Green Bay. That's at 4:30.
Okay.
We face the Vikings at 1:00.
Okay, this week.
So, obviously Dallas would know what the results were with
Right.
us going into their game.
Yeah.
And if we lost to Minnesota, they look at that as a big break. Okay, now we have to win this game.
Yeah.
Because Philadelphia just gave us, a bone essentially, some life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we should beat Minnesota. I mean, if we lose to Minnesota, like I said, originally said it was a trap game, but that's a
but now it's like.
But
yeah, I mean,
that's only
they're very
because
depleted now.
The only thing that maybe could be the saving grace is the fact that you got Jared Allen and this Vikings defense, that I think still is a very ferocious defense.
Yeah, they could be good. Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
Offensively, I don't see any weapon on this team anymore.
Right.
They lost their weapon to Peterson, it looks like. So, I mean, and Gerhardt was okay, but he's out. So, I don't even know who the hell their third string running back is, to be honest with you. Like I said, it's Matt Castle, it's not Christian Pond. I mean, it's just, I don't see Minnesota pulling up the upset. I mean, I had it as a trap game originally. And it could still be a trap game. Minnesota could still come in here and shock the hell out of Philadelphia. Nick Foles might, like I said, revert back to the Dallas game early in the year, where he's deer in the headlights essentially the whole game, gets concussed, and then all of a sudden Michael Vick comes back in.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, Vick's hamstring's healthy now. I don't think there's even a question mark. I think he's a healthy guy now. But funny how in these last couple weeks, really no comments from Michael Vick.
Yeah.
He's been very quiet. He's been on the sidelines. You can see him there. He's coaching kind of full. He's talking once in a while to him and that. But, just saying, it's not like he's creating a circus or anything. It's not like it's It's not like it's Washington right now where RG3 got benched and this Kirk Cousins and everything.
RG3 and 10 is something like that. So that's how about that? I mean, but and then I mean it's like it's amazing. It seems like a few years ago too they were having like the same quarterback controversy here. They had Rex Grossman and Donovan McNabb got benched for it. And,
I'm embarrassed.
But anyhow,
I just remember that. I'm sorry, I got to bring this up here. Bill Fike was having an argument with us about Tunnel being an elite
we should bring that up.
Elite quarterback. Okay, I get the guy is doing some very impressive numbers at a very young age still. But I'm sorry, when he made the comment that the ring doesn't matter, I almost felt like saying, so Bill, is Donovan McNabb a Hall of Fame player then? Because if rings don't matter then it has to matter. Because, I'm sorry, 37,000 total passing yards to Romo's 28,000. McNabb was 37 when he was retired.
Yeah.
Romo was only 33. So based on that logic, Romo's got maybe 4 or 5 good years in.
And even when McNabb retired, I mean, the last few years of McNabb's
that's what I'm saying.
career,
He could have a down year. Romo could have a down year in those closing years. So
who knows?
Romo might not have as many stats at the end of the year than passing yards than McNabb did. Granted, he has a 96 passer rating right now, career-wise. McNabb had an 85, which is still very impressive in McNabb.
Right.
And like I said, I do think Romo's going to have one of those like downhill sites because really, I think unless you're Peyton Manning or Brett Favre, all the greats, Joe Montana, Dan Marino, all kind of their stats plummeted towards the end of their career eventually. Because
depends when it ends for
and even Kurt Warner's stats kind of started going down a bit as he got close to retirement. So I mean, like I said, it's one of those like stupid comments here. Once again, Bill Fike is also one of the few Cowboy fans. I should say it. One of the Cowboy fans that still is defending the hell out of Jerry Jones right now.
Yeah.
He's still, it's like, we got to fire Kiffin. We got to fire Garrett. We got to fire, it's like, I'm sorry, Bill, who made these decisions?
Yeah.
Who fired Rob Ryan and hired Monty Kiffin in the first place?
Yeah.
Is that the GM?
It's an outrage.
I mean, was that Bill Cosby?
No. That was close. Obama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kind of close, though, if you think about it.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
feel bad.
Yeah.
Feel bad now. Well, I don't know because I watched the whole like Bill Cosby special on Comedy Central, and it's not like something he would say in his like routine.
If you do think of that does it sounds a little like Bill Cosby.
Because I mean, it's just his routine. But yeah, they're wrong. And I've seen a lot of Obama speeches too.
Yeah.
But I never like linked the two together.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's not going to sound good on YouTube.
But yeah.
But But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know where this whole elite quarterback deal comes in. I mean, it's like the Eli Manning deal too. He has 2 Super Bowl rings,
Yeah.
but does he really have stats to make you think Hall of Fame?
Yeah. He's getting up there in yards, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but also a lot of interceptions.
Yeah,
and his passer rating cannot be as high as McNabb's or Romo's. So, I mean, it's a debate that's happened for a while, and this isn't the only time that's happened. I mean, but no, it's just that the whole idea of. Well, I think it's also the fact that I think Bill just knows that this is just a bit of a mediocre year, and he's just trying to.
Yeah.
He knows he can't say anything. The only thing he can really say is that the Cowboys have rings.
Yeah.
And the Eagles don't. That's almost the same. Yeah. That's the same argument the Cowboys fans have made for the past 20-something years since their last Super Bowl ring in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
96 was their last ring.
Right.
Barry Switzer head coach. It was technically Jimmy Johnson's team, but
yeah.
No, so I mean, but again, I don't see Yankee fans jumping for joy because they haven't been in one in a while. I don't see them rubbing it in the franchise saying, "Doesn't matter, you won one. We got 25 rings here." I mean, we have 25 World Series trophies, but I don't know. That comment just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And in Bill Fikes' case with the rings, I mean, the last one that they won, I mean, he was what in preschool. 96.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Sorry, I was 6. I was born in 1990.
You were 6.
Bill was probably born in 1992, so he was
92
only 4.
probably.
So is he even remember
so
that
probably,
game?
Rolling around on the floor in preschool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, hater.
I mean, like I said, as far as I know, he doesn't even remember the Super Bowl.
So he won't even. He won't even.
I mean, has he really actually got a chance to enjoy an actual Super Bowl?
Sit down and
I mean, telling with the technology of NFL Network, you can enjoy all the past Super Bowl games.
Yeah.
Or in our case, the ones that we almost won, I guess, in our case. But still, no. I mean, so for me, I think the one Philadelphia one would have more meaning to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Than Bill would, because Bill was 4. I mean, no. I mean, the only Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl that I could remember was when it was Brett Favre against the New England Patriots, Drew Bledsoe. Yeah. That was the first one, Tyler, that I actually could visualize and realize. I didn't realize it was in the Super Bowl. I just thought it was just some random football game. I just remember that was the first actual Super Bowl I could actually visually still remember now.
I think the first one, it was like a Cowboys one too that I visually.
Well, it had to be the Cowboys Steelers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the first one I can visually remember.
Because I said my cousins were kind of Cowboy fans when they grew up too. Grant, I think they were fans only because it was the '90s, and let's face it, you went through Super Bowl rings. You can get behind that team easily. I was gonna say they were a bandwagon.
Yeah,
they were a bandwagon.
Let's put it out there.
I mean, my first football team was the Packers originally.
Oh yeah.
Because like I said, that was the first Super Bowl one I saw. My first image is watching a very young Brett Favre holding that first and believe that only Super Bowl title he ever won in his career. And just just saying to myself, wow, that looks amazing. I want to cheer for that. And lucky for me, they came back next year against John Elway and the Broncos.
Right.
Once again, I was young. If I would have been old, I would have said this is the greatest Super Bowl I ever watched, probably. But until, of course, I watched the. I'm still debating whether the Patriots, Giants, or Cardinals, Steelers ones. The ones that I actually still can definitely remember and kind of play back in that. Which one was better? Because the Giants was a big upset, but the Steelers, that drive towards the end, that nice catch by Antonio Holmes, which everybody thought was there's no way he had 2 feet in bounds.
Yeah.
And then he hits replay, and it's like, oh my God, he got 2 feet in bounds somehow.
Yeah.
And like I said, but then again, I thought Larry Fitzgerald was about to have an NFL MVP performance because he just took over the second half in that game for Arizona. But no, but I mean, I brought that up just because.
Yeah.
There's elite quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, and still the amazing stat is that Romo's only had one playoff win
Against us.
Yeah,
and it was the Donovan McNabb's I believe last game.
It was the downfall of the end of that era.
It was at Jerry World, which was I think the week before they beat us to even get into playoffs.
Yeah,
I mean because I think what happened was the way they said was that it was Philadelphia and Dallas, and we won. I think in the regular season finale. We would win the division and host Dallas next week. If Dallas won, it would just be us against them and Jerry World next week. And we lost. So most experts just figured we were going to lose. And besides a nice pass by Michael Vick in the beginning of the game, that offense pretty much died there. And I think even McNabb did something because at one point McNabb, when he got older, he just did all these antics on the sidelines for some reason. Like it didn't feel like he was focused on the game. Like he was just messing around.
Yeah.
Because I think in the beginning of that game, like I think he started like banging on like because there was like the way they had it for the away team was that you come out and there's like the home side fans can just see you, just verbally assault you net. And McNabb is genius just as the walk up starts banging the wall that is separating it net just to fire up everybody net. But no, but I mean like I think it was like one divisional game where he ran out of bounds and it was on the Giants sideline and he picked up the Giants phone and like called in their coaching staff or something. And of course, you get a flag on sportsmanlike conduct for that call.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh my God, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You're a veteran.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, now we're looking ahead to this Vikings game, and we're all kind of looking ahead to the Dallas game too.
Oh, definitely.
And the season, because
definitely. I mean, like I said,
still most likely that's what it'll come down to.
I mean, I'm not going to throw away Green Bay. I'm not.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, Washington
Dallas should win because Washington's got so many more issues than just who's their quarterback and they got a head coaching debacle right now that's going to be settled. Technically, an owner debacle. Technically, Dan Schneider just says, "Can I get out of the news this year?" First, the whole changing the Redskins name deal has really got him. You know, his whole defiant thing towards the American community. Oh, we're never going to change this name. I don't care if it offends you one bit. I mean, once again, come from a white owner. I don't know that looks good image wise, but no, I mean, it's just the Redskins have so much more issues than what Dallas has right now.
Yeah.
Grant, Dallas has issues. I'm curious how many of them actually get addressed in the offseason.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's always, and like I said, I'd meet Bill for our annual Christmas Eve party at New Year's party at Rocco's probably.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hopefully you get invited. Maybe you can actually come inside and have a conversation with people then.
Yeah. The other year I sat around the fire with Corey or something.
I didn't understand it. I don't know why you guys did it. Everybody else was inside talking. And
I like it, but you know what I like on a cold winter night? I mean, I like sitting around a fire. You know, I don't know.
No. I mean, it came out briefly that, but I'm saying I didn't know why you guys were out there and everybody was inside.
I forget what. Yeah, I mean, I forget what we were trying. I don't know if we were like gonna roast marshmallows or something.
Corey was trying to get a fire going. Yeah, I think it was the idea, but nobody wanted to head outside. Everybody was pretty much tired at that point.
Yeah.
After watching the big ball drop and everything, and actually I think we watched.
Yeah, that's right. That was
actually at one point, I think we watched like a Batman Adam West marathon, which pissed off everybody because it's an hilarious TV show now, but it's just there's like somebody like saying like really we can't watch anything else. It has to be Batman at midnight. But I never thought why he didn't come in. But no, I'm sure we're gonna talk about. He's going to bring up the whole ring deal because he always does every conversation now.
Yeah.
That's all he can bring up for the Cowboys at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it now, Tyler. The Philadelphia Eagles will win a ring before the Dallas Cowboys will.
Next one. Yeah, I mean.
They will. It's probably going to be this year. Maybe not even next year, but it's going to be in the future.
Yeah.
The future for this franchise. I mean, but even if you look at the past, I mean, who has the better playoff record anyway?
Yeah.
Philadelphia does.
At least in recent, the past
5 NFC Championship appearances.
Decades,
does Dallas even know what an NFC Championship game is now? Granted, we lost most of them, but who cares? We were in one.
Yeah.
Actually, 5.
Several.
We won 1 Super Bowl. I mean, does Dallas even know what a Super Bowl is at this point? I mean, that's just my point. I mean, it's like that's all he can do saying that, and he'll even go further. We might win 1, and also he'll go. We still got 5. Like, okay, Bill. Once again. 1996 gets farther and farther away each year.
Yeah.
I mean, that streak will grow eventually, Bill. Basically, Dallas will have a Philadelphia-sized streak of no championships, and then you get to know how it feels to wait for one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, like, you even brought it up. Like, he was 4 years old when they won it the last time.
Yeah.
Does he actually remember that game?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably does now with NFL Network and all those replays they show every class Super Bowl and that. But it's like, okay, but even if I watch the old Eagles-Raiders Super Bowl, the one I will always remember is the one against the Patriots.
Right.
And all the NFC Championship games we lost.
Yeah.
Because I was older and it was more in my head than that. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I think at age 4, it's pretty hard to be, passionate about a team.
Yeah.
That, you grow up like, oh, man, remember when they lost that game or whatever. And, or remember when they, it's... you're 4 years old. It's like
that's the thing. I mean, I think I realized till I was 10 until I actually did research and realized that Philadelphia had not won one championship in any sport in a long time.
Yeah,
and that there's like this massive William Penn curse. The whole supposedly we're supposed to build a building taller than the statue.
Yeah,
of William Penn, and That's why. And William Penn, because he got angry, he, like, cursed the city or something like that.
Yeah.
That whole curse makes no sense because William Penn was a Quaker, and I thought the Quakers were supposed to be pacifist, and even in afterlife, I don't think William Penn would be vengeful
Yeah.
towards the city that he technically founded.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, here we sit 8-5, and
Yeah.
nobody, I don't think, expected them to be 8-5 at this point. Maybe 5-8 at this point.
You had 7, I had 6.
7-9, yeah, at the end of the season. But I mean, at this point, 5-8 at the end of the, or I mean, at this point in the season, maybe is what we would have thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 8-5, they're this winning streak. They're exceeding expectations.
Oh,
and,
definitely.
and if they exceed expectations this much, I mean, hopefully, it makes it more likely that maybe we'll be able to get a ring in the coming years sometime. Maybe this era.
Well, obviously, make the playoffs. You got to say every team has a shot at it to make the playoffs.
Right, obviously.
I think if it would be one of the most difficult roads to a championship any team's gone through.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's against either Cam Newton and the Resurgent Panthers at Lincoln, or it's the Colin Kaepernick 49ers, which would be even a harder opponent because of that defense.
Great defense, yeah.
That great defense, and the fact that, our defense has been improving, but I think even Colin Kaepernick could have a field day for a defense.
They're coming, yeah.
They got Crabtree, they got
They're
Bolden.
catching fire, yeah.
They got some weapons on that team.
Yeah.
And like I said, then we got to go down to the Superdome.
Yeah.
Try to win that place. I mean, once again, got to try to stop Drew Brees and that offense. And then we got to score in this Rob Ryan third against the pass, Tyler defense.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they were dead last against the pass last year.
Last year, yeah.
Once again, what was Dallas thinking?
They were like Dallas's defense is
this year.
This year, yeah. It's pretty ironic.
Yeah.
So.
I said Skip Bayless really is going to shove that through Jerry Jones' face until Jerry admits that was a stupid move on his part.
Yeah.
The whole Herschel Walker trade was a brilliant move on the Cowboys' part in the 90s. That might be their best trade they ever made. Because all the draft picks they got, all those Hall of Famers they got, picked up with those draft picks. But I think the Rob Ryan one could easily be one of the worst ones they ever did. Well, I'm sorry. Picking up Terrell Owens was also a terrible idea on their part.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry. We made a mistake of picking him up after we all knew that he was had issues at San Francisco.
But
then Jerry Jones comes around and does the same thing, even though he knows what he did to our franchise in just a span of 2 years.
I think if you handle him right, bringing him in, I think there's a way to handle. I mean, you got to spoil guys like T.O. Unfortunately, so you have to know that if you're going to bring him in. Yeah, if you keep him happy, then he'll produce. And
I still think we should have benched him during the Super Bowl. I still think that.
Well,
that was just one of those decisions that I know Andy Reid kind of had to start him. The money we were paying him, the fact that he did have some decent stats before he got hurt, but still, I mean, did the offense really need him?
Well, yeah.
I mean, we had Chad Lewis and James Frash and Todd Pinkston and a whole bunch of other no-name receivers, essentially.
Mitchell.
Which was good. Shows you why Donovan McNabb is maybe a Hall of Fame guy, because let's face it wasn't like he had weapons during those runs. Yeah. I mean, he had Westbrook maybe and Deuce Staley a few times in the backfield, but it wasn't like we had like an amazing wide receiving core, Tyler, back then.
It helped to have great defense, obviously.
I think our defense was a straight factor.
As far as I
think the offense was still solid with McNabb, obviously, especially back. Like I said, young McNabb was amazing. I think once
after that Super Bowl,
I think it was Super Bowl. I think it was the injuries also. Because I said he was still he was kind of like a running guy still. I think once he took a lot of shots and a lot of knee injuries on, he started slowing down. You could tell he was starting to get. And once that happens, he had to rely on his arm a lot. And I would say he was a bad thrower. I think McNabb was actually a pretty decent thrower, but it clearly was getting his head a lot.
Yeah.
And that was when we made sure to probably pulled the plug on him eventually. But like I said, I mean, first ballot, probably not. Like I said, if rings don't matter, then he has to be in consideration based on the stats he has right now, career. Because you can't deny that those are an 85% passer rating, 37,000 total passing yards. I mean, those are elite stats.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going forward here, facing the Vikings next.
Should be a win.
They should be a win.
Should be a big win. I don't want any of these close games again.
Yeah.
Should be a dominant win for Philadelphia.
Yeah. So.
And then after that, watch Fox Sports and watch maybe the Cowboys go down.
Yeah, and then the week after they flex the Chicago game to 8 o'clock. I don't know, or night, whatever you want.
Yeah, prime time. Yeah.
Yeah, in place of the Patriots and Ravens, which is, if you think,
Well,
that's a little interesting, you know.
I don't think Baltimore is going to be competitive.
In that game, well, I mean, they're 7-6, and Gronkowski's now out for the season.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of issues that Baltimore team than just.
Yeah, but I mean, I would think they might. Right now they're kind of in the driver's seat to get that last playoff.
Yeah, but
spot.
look at the Dolphins schedule.
The Dolphins.
And after New England, it's just what, New York and Buffalo, or Buffalo, New York.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the only advantage really Baltimore has is
guys.
that maybe Cincinnati doesn't play their starters at the end because they win the division.
Yeah.
But still,
maybe
but still, they got to get some. They got a tough schedule there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think to some degree, Baltimore was coming together in recent weeks. I mean, obviously they had a scare with Minnesota, but
oh yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of people in Baltimore that lost some few years of their life. But no, I actually like the Dolphins' advantage with the last schedule.
Yeah.
Even though they almost lost the one to Pittsburgh, I think they've been coming together too towards the end.
They started well, then they kind of fell apart. And now they're coming together.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're wrong. I think they're both going to lose to the Bengals because I think that Cincinnati's clinched the third seed over the Colts.
I think they're playing well.
I think the Chiefs actually could beat the Colts. I think.
Yeah.
Andrew looked pretty good.
In the coming weeks, they play them too.
But that's the thing there too. I mean, but I do think that the Colts and Chiefs could be a. I think it's gonna be a win for the Chiefs. I think that's all I'm pretty much saying.
Now. I might think that. I mean, they'll play obviously.
I mean, obviously they had no problem just running through Washington, embarrassing them in their own stadium.
Yeah.
What was it, 31 nothing halftime?
Yeah.
At that point, Washington fans just left.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jackson was looking at that game going, and people make fun of us for having no fans.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's how the AFC looks, and
I think so. The NFC, I think we have 6 teams in the NFC too. Arizona, I had a shot maybe in the beginning, but I'm looking at their schedule and I don't see.
They have to play 49ers still.
But they have to play Seattle yet.
They have to play Seattle.
And I believe it's at Seattle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so
I believe it's at Seattle. And
I think they're cooling off a little.
I think
the other game, I don't know what it is, but with Arizona, but yeah, I mean, I would think too now the 49ers are seasoned and should get that
5th seed.
5th, yeah, probably 5th.
I think they're gonna. I think the Panthers, if they lose, they should beat the Jets.
Yeah, they should.
Who still have some life in that race. But
then they have to play the Saints again, who will probably want to lock up, the second seed.
At least,
yeah,
and put pressure still on Seattle yet for maybe one more slip up. But actually, it doesn't even matter there because they get the tiebreaker Seattle.
Pretty much,
really, they need 2 losses from Seattle.
Yeah,
which I don't see happening in the next 3 games. So
right.
I mean, so look at the game. I mean, I think it's easily. I think Seattle has the 1st seed locked up.
Yeah,
which is not good for anybody else in the NFC.
In the NFC, right?
If that's the case, then like I said, I think Saints got the 2nd seed locked up. Although I think that game at Carolina is gonna be tough because it's outdoors.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
It won't be as easy as I think their home game, but once again, does anybody want to play in a Superdome against this team? Really?
Right. Yeah.
Because it's just like Seattle. Really, they're pretty unbeatable there this season. But again, like I said, Philadelphia has been a road warrior team this year.
Yeah.
Better record still than than at home. So
at least at home they're playing well,
which might not be good for the playoffs then if we open up at home. Yeah. But I mean, I'm just hoping Carolina because I think that's going to be not that it's going to be any easier.
Yeah,
Cam Newton is now an elite quarterbacke.
And their defense is good.
That defense is damn good.
Yeah, I mean they had a bad game this week, but they were like I think they probably still are technically the number 1 scoring defense actually, fewest points against. And I think Seattle might be 2nd.
But yeah, I think there's that, which means San Francisco would face probably Detroit, which might actually be a pretty good game, really. I mean, because Detroit has weapons on this team.
Yeah, they
do, and I think Calvin Johnson gets the secondary for San Francisco could be an interesting matchup.
Yeah,
and like I said, could sue and fairly put pressure on Kaepernick maybe too, maybe screw him up. I mean, that could be a good matchup. Either way, I think depending on who wins, of course, the games, I think we can still beat Cam Newton. I think by then, I think just Philadelphia's gonna be raucous that night in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I know we're getting very far ahead of ourselves here, but I'm finding it hard to put the Dallas Cowboys in that division.
Yeah,
if they do, it's gonna be a 4th seed.
Yeah,
which is then Dallas would have to get embarrassed by Kaepernick and Jerry Wald. I mean, it's gonna be a nightmare for the Dallas Cowboys then essentially. Unless Romo played the game of his career essentially. But no, I think we would beat Carolina. I think because I think because we've been in the preseason, but I think it's gonna be close. But I think we can just edge out Cam Newton and the
I mean,
Panthers.
yeah.
They're not too like so Cam Newton. Everybody's been looking at him saying, "When's he gonna go back to the old Cam Newton where he makes a lot of mistakes and
Yeah.
that and so on?" I think San Francisco will still beat Detroit at Detroit. Like I said, because I look at the Lions schedule. I think they can win out, and if they do, they clinch the
could,
division.
10-6.
I mean, because they do have a tiebreaker over Chicago, which is what Chicago's got to be
they
kicking
won
themselves
twice.
about.
Yeah,
They had to at least win split of them to have a shot. That because even though they're tied, they need Detroit to collapse, and they kind of do at the end. But
yeah,
look at the schedule. If they do, it's going to be a sad
yeah,
excuse for Jim Schwartz to keep his job this year.
yeah.
But no, I think San Francisco wins, which means we got San Francisco and Seattle.
Right.
Could be a very interesting matchup there.
Yeah.
I mean, last time it happened at Seattle, they got
It
their ass
wasn't close,
kicked.
yeah.
But I
But
think
in playoff mode, yeah.
playoff, we'll see what
I
happens.
think it would at least be competitive.
I think
even if-
it'd definitely be a
I
must
root
see.
for the 49ers, not because I predict, but
Yeah.
to see somebody beat Seattle at home
Yeah.
with the way, how dominant they've been at home.
And like I
this year,
said,
think
Philadelphia would then face
anybody would
the
face it.
Saints.
Yeah.
And that could be. It could be close. It could be
Yeah.
a shootout, or it could be an
it could be ugly.
It
yeah.
could be ugly. I mean, I'm thinking Denver Broncos
Yeah.
almost there.
I
kind
mean,
of.
key turnovers too. I mean,
Turnovers and
that helps
and,
them with the Eagles sometimes.
Well, not only turnovers, but with the offense be able to go up against this.
Right. The defense.
Not just running, but can Nick Foles go
Passing.
against this?
Yeah.
Like I said, third against the pass. And
Right.
Jackson Cooper have had some okay games, but if they get contained, then it's all on McCoy's
Right.
back. And I don't think he can
Right.
outperform Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's almost like playing at Seattle. They're pretty unbeatable at home.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we survive that, it's either we host the 49ers, not going to be an easy matchup, even if it's them coming all the way over to the East Coast,
Yeah.
and it might even be snow on the ground, which I don't think they get in San Francisco a lot.
Not very often. No.
Or we go all the way over to Seattle and have to try to play in that ruckus of a stadium with those ruckus fans
Yeah.
who at this point just feel like they've already earned, like I said, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I think I said this like last week, like most experts would probably say like, well, it's at Seattle. Seattle's unbeaten. Nick Foles is this question mark quarterback still. That defense could screw up any moment. And,
Yeah.
Sean McCoy can't carry the whole offense the whole season. And, I mean, Sean Jackson's been contained most of the weeks. And I don't think Riley Cooper can outplay against, like, Sherman or any of the other corners for Seattle.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to say is how we'd be a massive underdog in that game, probably.
Right.
If we would win somehow in Seattle, it would be, like, the biggest upset in
Yeah.
NFC Championship history. It would have to be.
Yeah.
With all thing that Seattle has in that stadium.
Yeah.
And then even then, it would probably be much just, oh, God. Peyton Manning and the Denver
Yeah.
Broncos, probably. Granted, with Nick Foles at quarterback,
see how-
not Michael Vick,
Right.
but still.
Still.
And granted, it might be 6-8 inches of snow, and we all know about the whole Peyton Manning supposedly cold weather deal.
Yeah. That was out the window this week.
Yeah, Tennessee. I mean, it kind of showed in the first half, but then, oh my God, just lighting
That's
it up.
Yeah.
In the second half, Manning kind of shut up those critics.
Yeah.
But like I said, also the playoffs, and he said he's only been to 2, he's only won 1. We'll see.
Yeah.
But like I said, we got very ahead of ourselves there.
Right.
I just think if we get
It's
to
a
the
dream scenario.
we just make the playoffs, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get a win, I'll be
as long
ecstatic.
as they win the
And if we
division,
somehow
which they
make it to the
should.
championship game, I don't even care if we get blown up 52-0 at Seattle, which actually could happen.
Yeah.
As like a statement to maybe the Broncos or something.
Yeah.
But because I think the NFC Championship game is actually first this year, and then it's the NFC Championship game. Which means if it's Denver, they're definitely going to pay attention to the NFC Championship game then.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, with each win here, in a row, it's things are things are looking more and more up. I think with this team. So.
And not that many games left. I mean, like I said,
Right.
Dallas is trailing, and now we got 3 games to work with now. So they can't lose anymore, and
Right.
we can't stop winning. We got to keep winning. We got a streak
Yeah.
going right now,
Keep winning. Yeah.
which is a good thing. Like I said, Baltimore had a winning streak going in last year. Nobody thought they had a shot.
Yeah.
Granted, they had Ray Lewis also kind of motivating him too, and
Right.
there was that horrible secondary call by the Broncos corner.
Yeah.
He would have stayed where he was. If he didn't, undershoot or overshoot the route, that would have been probably like an incomplete pass or interception. Game over. Denver goes to the championship game.
Yeah.
But no. Then I was like, it's Peyton Manning's fault that all of a sudden because he threw an interception in overtime.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was because what was Manning thinking on that throw?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
You never know. This is Baltimore won last year, and nobody had them going deep. So
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure we could talk about that too. Which team do you have that is not Seattle, New Orleans, or Denver, New England? Like who else in that field could probably maybe make a Super Bowl run?
Yeah.
I'd make a guess right now. I actually would say Philadelphia right now, to be honest. I don't think the Lions
I
got it. I don't think
Yeah.
San Francisco can make a run, and I don't think the Panthers can make a run. I think just looking at our win streak, I think we are the only other team that can make a run in the NFC right now.
In the NFC, yeah.
In the AFC, I was thinking Bengals. I'm thinking Chiefs.
Chiefs, maybe. I don't know.
I
the Bengals. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm not sold on Dalton
I'm
entirely.
going. Well, that's why I'm not sold on Dalton. I'm more sold on Alex Smith. He does have playoff experience.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. So I would go Chiefs as to be a spoiler in the AFC, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be a spoiler, but to
Well,
the Super Bowl, I don't know. I mean, they'd have to.
You never know.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, being in Indianapolis,
they'd have to win
they have to
two
win at Indy.
games.
Yeah,
they'd have to win
Indy.
2 games probably to get to play Denver again. Or, the conference championship or
Well,
whatever. That's the thing.
like I said, I think it would be Bengals and Patriots. Whether those two switch the 2 or the 3 seed, it's going to be Bengals Patriots probably.
In the second
Because
round.
I don't care who's the 6 seed, whether it's Baltimore or Miami. I think Cincinnati's going to beat either of them.
Yeah.
Which means that they would have to face the Patriots. I think Kansas City, even though I think Andrew Luck can have a magic game against the Chiefs, I think they beat the Colts at Indianapolis, and I think then we face Denver. And like I said, that's what gets interesting. Can they win at Denver then?
Yeah.
Where they lost, the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, but then it's the Colts, and so on. So after that, then it's either Cincinnati
or New England.
or New England. Now, to be fair, Cincinnati did beat New England this year
Yeah.
without Gronk and without Amendola,
Yeah.
who is back. But it's the same lineup essentially. So it's not like Cincinnati and New England's a walk in the park for New England. Those two.
Yeah.
Cincinnati doesn't have the head over them in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati just beat the Colts convincingly, so.
And Andrew Luck had 300 passing yards in that game.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of help on receiving,
Right.
but I think Reggie Wayne's really hurt that receiving core. I mean,
that's definitely a.
T.Y. Hilton had a shot, but I benched him because he only had like 7. 7. Just 7, Tyler.
Yeah.
Just 7. 7 receiving yards. That's 1 catch probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they definitely need to draft the wide receiver in the draft. I mean, draft the wide receiver in the draft and get the defensive end to help out that defense too.
Yeah.
So if Jim Irsay wants help or draft advice, it's that. Wide receiver or defense. Those are your 2 needs right now. Because you have an elite quarterback right now. And that's what I'm saying. Still predicting the next Peyton Manning right there, Andrew Luck. Hopefully better playoff record though.
Yeah.
But I do think that Luck has a lot of potential.
Next elite quarterback, yeah.
Well, out of this draft class, I mean, RG3 is out of the running now.
You mean, yeah, I mean.
As far as staying
I don't
elite.
think-
As far as staying elite. Andrew Luck, second division
Just gotta
title
worry
for the
about staying
Colts.
healthy for, amongst other things, with that.
And the other argument, I think, is Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know how much of it. I mean, to be fair, Russell Wilson was originally the 3rd stringer, and he had to work his way up, beat Matt Flynn and some other guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think what Luck's been able to do with Indianapolis, considering the fact that what that team
But they turned,
was.
quick turnaround.
I mean, I don't want to insult Wilson, but he had some weapons already there before he even showed up.
Yeah, and a great defense.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And a great coach, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he had the easier road because he always had the battle to get that starting job, but still, look at what these both have to have.
Yeah.
Luck clearly is showing more elite because of what he has to work with.
Now, if Nick Foles, he kind of will have had the toughest road if you think about it.
Was he? I don't know. Am I wrong? Was he not part of that same draft?
He was.
class?
He was like the 15 picks or so after Russell Wilson, if I remember.
Oh yeah.
Now the Eagles.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because we got rid of Mike Kafka from Northwestern.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
but no. I think that was the same class. So.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. Here's the thing. There was this one guy on First Take that actually who's been a Foles supporter for a while, and he compared Nick Foles to being the next Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, there's been comparisons out there.
And he said that this magical run he's having right now is similar to what Brady had when he won the Super Bowl over the Rams.
Yeah.
And great, it was a magical run because who'd they beat? The Raiders, who I believe won the Super Bowl the following year against the Bucks, if I remember right.
Yeah, the next year they played. Yeah.
It was at Foxborough. It was in so many conditions, and that was when it was a questionable,
They beat
non-fumble,
Yeah.
call, but still, the Patriots won over the Bucks, and then they beat the, I think it was Cordell Stewart and the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think. Yeah, because that was when we were talking about how, because the Eagles were at the Rams that week, and I think it was
Right.
like Mark Bolger was quarterback, but he still had like Isaac Bruce and
Torrey Holt.
Torrey Holt.
Yeah.
And I think Marshall Faulk was
Marshall
still as running
Faulk,
back.
yeah.
And everybody thought the Rams were going to win that year because this is essentially the same team that beat the Titans
Right.
that one year.
Yeah.
And we all know what happened. The legacy of Tom Brady grew and,
Yeah.
I should say, started. It didn't exactly grow yet, but
Yeah.
it was clearly something special was happening.
Right.
And, like I said, the following year, he actually had a pretty crappy year. I think Tom Brady actually had a crappy year.
Yeah,
after
the
they won his first
Patriots
Super Bowl.
missed the playoffs.
Yeah, they
that
missed the
year.
playoff. And actually, that's why a lot of people thought Tom Brady, okay, the Magic ended
Yeah.
one
So that
season.
I think that was the last time they missed the playoffs.
Exactly.
So,
So,
how about that?
but I mean, yeah, definitely Brady had, because like I said, I remember like watching, I think it was like the Brady 6.
Yeah.
The 6th quarterback was the drafted ahead of Tom Brady. Maybe Nick Foles has a special. Maybe
Yeah.
you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't deny that season because it was a magical season for New England. Nobody thought they had a shot.
Right.
Nobody thought they were going to win the division. They thought once Drew Bledsoe was out, they thought, okay, well, next year is next year.
Yeah.
But they get a quarterback, get a ring, and then they have a franchise quarterback
Yeah.
and multiple rings. I
Right.
mean, you can link the two. I think that's, once again, I don't want Nick Foles to think about that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
The less this guy's thinking about, the better, probably.
Yeah.
Because no offense to Tom Brady, he's got maybe a harder road to the Super Bowl than Tom Brady had to. Granted, Oakland was a very good team that year. I think the following
year they went
they were actually in the Super Bowl.
11-5 and went to the Super Bowl.
I mean,
Yeah.
Grant, I don't think Jerry Rice is on that team anymore. And
No.
I think, but they had
That
Rich
was-
Gannon and
yeah.
Tim Brown. I think Tim Brown was still playing.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's think. Oakland had a very elite wide receiving corps when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I actually thought Oakland was going to win. I thought Jerry Rice, you kidding me? Against
Yeah.
the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
I was dead wrong in that game.
Buccaneers defense was
Oh.
just so good then.
Oh, that's the thing there too. I think a lot of people looking back at that defense, almost like the Baltimore defense against Kerry Collins and the New York
Yeah.
Giants that one year.
Yeah.
Sometimes defenses win Super Bowls, and
Right.
those two
That was
games
the
proved
case.
it. Because it wasn't Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer winning those games.
Yeah.
It was that solid defensive core. So
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, we continue to see this Nick Foles saga with the Philadelphia Eagles. See how it unfolds. Who knows how it'll down the road,
who knows?
if it will unfold like Tom Brady. But we
If
can only hope
If it
for
does,
now.
if it does, then oh boy, Bill was going to be in a fetal position like a couple years from
Yeah.
now, going, it can't be, it can't be.
Yeah.
How could they win multiple ones?
Yeah.
Forget one, we won multiple ones.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that would be a happy moment for me. It's like, yeah, who's like who can't win one now, Bill?
Yeah.
Who can't win one now?
Yeah. So, yep, Minnesota Vikings this weekend. Hopefully another win, and
Forget hopefully, Tyler. It should be.
It should be,
If
yeah.
it's not, it's a letdown.
right.
It's a letdown. If it's not, I'm gonna go like a Stephen A. Smith rant about how
Yeah.
pathetic the team was in that, how it's a disgrace to even wear that jersey and so on.
Yeah. So, we look forward to that. As each game we do now,
Mhm.
we look forward to.
Yeah, you can't hide it now. We have a shot at making the playoffs.
Every game now is,
Tyler
is
in
a
the,
big deal
Tyler in
again.
the beginning was like, he's like, "Oh, I'm not thinking that far ahead. I'm not thinking that far ahead.
Right.
I'm sorry, you got to think that far ahead now.
Now you got to think.
Yeah, you have to now. You
Now
can't
it's-
avoid it now. It's
As an NFL coach, you got to take it game by game, etc. But
as a fan, you have to look ahead.
as fans and talking about it on YouTube and stuff. Yeah,
you have to. You have
everybody looks ahead. That's
Yeah.
what we do. So, thanks for tuning in to TW Sports Talk, and just stay tuned for next week after the Eagles-Vikings game.